Welcome to my channel. Subscribe and enjoy my new stories every day. It was a crisp Thursday evening when Kathy came home earlier than usual. I was still typing away in my home office, the monotony of my keystrokes barely drowning out the distant sounds of the city. She entered the room silently but with a certain hurried excitement, her face glowing as she approached me, holding out a large bouquet of vibrant red roses. "For you, my love," she whispered, her voice carrying a tremor that didn't quite match her smile. Surprised and somewhat moved, I took the flowers, their fresh scent momentarily sweeping away the cloud of monotony that had settled over my day. "They're beautiful, Kathy," I said, forcing a smile to mask the confusion swirling within me. We hadn't celebrated anything significant lately, and spontaneous gifts weren't typical for her. As she busied herself in the kitchen, I began unwrapping the bouquet, and that's when I noticed it. Among the lush, perfect blooms was one bud that seemed oddly wrinkled, almost crushed. Curiosity piqued, I gently pried it open, and that's when I saw something shimmering among the petals, a tiny piece of paper, attached with a thin pin. My hands trembled slightly as I unfolded the note. Scrawled in hasty cursive was the message, "Love you, meet me at the fountain at 6. No name, no other clues. But the handwriting, a looping, distinctive script, was unmistakable. It was Doug's, my colleague from work. A cold wave of realization washed over me. Doug, with whom I shared many lunches, discussing our mundane lives and the pressures of work, not once suspecting. I glanced at the clock. It was nearly 5:30 p.m. The fountain, the central piece of the park where we often ate lunch, was just a 15-minute walk away. I had time. Time to see for myself, to confirm the gnawing suspicion that had taken root in my chest. Without a word to Kathy, who was now humming softly to herself, an unusual air of mirth about her, I grabbed my coat and headed out. The city's noise greeted me as I closed the door behind me, the familiar sounds now underscored by the rhythm of my racing heart. As I walked, the scenes of our life together flashed before my eyes, a montage of laughter, holidays, quiet nights in. Had it all been a facade? The cool evening air did little to temper the heat of my rising anger. Reaching the park, I spotted them from a distance, Kathy and Doug, standing close, too close, by the fountain. The way he touched her arm, the way she leaned into him with a laugh, there was no mistaking the intimacy of their gestures. I watched, hidden by the shadow of a large oak tree, as my wife, the woman I trusted more than anyone, shared tender moments with another man. The scene before me felt like a surreal play, the characters familiar yet foreign. Fueled by a surge of betrayal and indignation, I made my way back home. The walk back felt longer, each step heavy with the weight of deception. When I arrived, Kathy was still out, likely prolonging her illicit rendezvous, unaware of the storm brewing at home. Sitting in the dim light of our living room, I planned my next moves. The love and trust one once felt had curdled into something dark, something eager for retribution. Kathy's betrayal would not go unanswered. I would ensure she lost more than just a husband, I would dismantle the life she knew, piece by piece. As the clock ticked toward midnight, I awaited her return, the bouquet of roses, now one short, sitting as a testament to the night's revelations on the coffee table. Tonight marked the beginning of the end, and by dawn, Kathy's world would be irrevocably changed. The door clicks softly behind Kathy as she tiptoes into the darkened house, her movements cautious, a stark contrast to the buoyant woman who left hours ago with roses in her hands. The silence is thick, suffocating, as I watch her from the shadows of the hallway. She pauses, her silhouette framed by the moonlight spilling through the open window. "Alex?" Her voice trembles slightly, a mix of confusion and fear, sensing the change in the atmosphere. "I'm here," I say, stepping into the light, my tone even but cold. She startles, almost dropping her purse. "You scared me. Why are you sitting in the dark? What's going on?" There's a nervous edge to her questions, her eyes darting around the room, avoiding my gaze. "We need to talk." I gesture to the crumpled bouquet on the table, now more an accusation than a gift. Especially about these roses. Kathy's face drains of color as she follows my gaze to the wilted flowers. What about them? I pull out the tiny note from my pocket, holding it up. I found this. I let the words hang between us, heavy with accusation. She takes a step back, her eyes widening in panic. Alex, I love you, meet me at the fountain at 6. I read the note aloud, each word deliberate, watching her face crumble with each syllable. Care to explain? Kathy's mouth opens and closes, words failing her as she struggles to formulate a response. Finally, she whispers, "It's not what you think." That's exactly what everyone says, isn't it? But I saw you, Kathy. With Doug. At the fountain. My voice hardens as I recount the betrayal, my words cutting through the last threads of trust between us. Her shoulders slump, the fight draining out of her. Yes, I've been seeing Doug. I was going to tell you, but... But what? You thought you'd keep playing house while sneaking around behind my back. Anger surges, raw and unfiltered. Kathy shakes her head, tears starting to form. It was a mistake, Alex. A stupid mistake. But it doesn't mean I don't love you. Love? I scoff, the word sounding foreign now. This is your love, Kathy. Lies and secrets. She reaches out, but I step back, recoiling from her touch as if burned. Please, let's just talk about this. We can go to counseling. We can fix this. There's no we anymore, Kathy. You ruined that. My decision firms as I see her desperation. I want a divorce. Kathy gasps, her worst fear vocalized. You don't mean that. Please, we can work through this. Don't throw away everything we have over one mistake. One mistake. I laugh bitterly. It's not just one mistake, Kathy. It's every lie, every secret meeting, every time you looked me in the eyes and told me you loved me while his handwriting sat hidden among roses. The finality in my voice seems to break her, her body shaking with sobs. So, what now? She manages between tears. Now, you leave. I state it plainly, the outcome inevitable. Pack your things. I'll contact a lawyer in the morning. But where will I go? Her voice is small, broken. That's no longer my concern. You should have thought of that before. My words are cold, reflecting the chill in my heart. As Kathy disappears into the bedroom, her sobs echoing down the hallway, I sit back down, the weight of my decision pressing down on me. Tonight, I've set in motion events that will change our lives forever. There's no turning back, and as the dawn begins to break, I prepare myself for the difficult path ahead. The morning light creeps in, unwelcome and bright, as the echoes of Kathy's departure linger in the now empty corridors of our home. The silence feels heavier, filled with the remnants of last night's revelations. As I sit at the kitchen table, sipping bitter coffee, the doorbell rings, a sharp, invasive chime that seems too loud in the quiet morning. I set down my cup and head to the door, my mind racing with possibilities. Who could it be at this hour? As I swing the door open, I'm met by the stern faces of two police officers, badges glinting in the morning sun. Mr. Stevens, the taller one asks, his voice firm. Yes, that's me. How can I help you? My voice betrays none of the anxiety that tightens my chest. We need to talk to you about a disturbance reported last night. May we come in? The officer's gaze is unwavering, searching. I nod, stepping aside to let them enter. Of course, but I'm not sure what disturbance you're referring to. As they make their way into the living room, the second officer, a woman with a notepad ready, begins to question me. We were called here last night by a neighbor. They reported shouting. Can you tell us what happened? I take a deep breath, weighing my words. Yes, my wife and I had an argument. It was personal. But she has left the house now. It won't happen again. The female officer scribbles down notes, then looks up. Where is your wife now? She's gone to stay with a friend, I assume. We decided to take a break. The words taste like ash in my mouth, the reality setting in. We'll need her contact information, the taller officer interjects, his tone indicating that this was more than a courtesy visit. I provide Kathy's cell number, my hands slightly shaking. The officers exchange a glance, their expressions unreadable. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. We may be in touch if we need further information. Please make sure to keep the situation calm. Disturbances like these can escalate, and we want to avoid any further issues. With a curt nod, they turn and leave, their steps echoing ominously. Closing the door behind them, I lean against it, a sigh escaping me. This was not how I envisioned the morning after. The reality of legal entanglements and public scrutiny begins to dawn on me, adding layers of complexity I hadn't anticipated. I move back to the kitchen, my thoughts in disarray. My phone buzzes, an incoming call from Doug. My hand hesitates over the screen before I swipe to answer. Alex, man, I heard about last night. I'm really sorry. I never wanted. Save it, Doug. My voice cuts through his apologies, sharp and cold. You didn't think. At all. Now, because of you and Kathy, I have cops at my door. Doug is silent for a moment, and when he speaks again, his voice is lower, more subdued. I didn't know she was going to leave the note in the bouquet. She said it would be discreet. Discreet? I scoff, bitterness lacing my tone. Nothing about this is discreet. My neighbors called the police, Doug. How's that for discretion? I don't know what to say, Alex. I'm sorry. Truly. If there's anything I can do. There's nothing you can do. Just stay away from me, and stay away from Kathy. I mean it. Hanging up, I toss the phone onto the table, my anger boiling over. Now alone with my thoughts, I realize that this is far from over. Kathy's departure and the conversation with the police have set things in motion that cannot be easily undone. I need to prepare, to strategize my next steps. This battle has just begun, and while the immediate skirmish might be over, the war looms large on the horizon. Days bleed into weeks, and the quiet of the house becomes oppressive, a constant reminder of the betrayal that upended my life. My interactions with Kathy have dwindled to brief, icy exchanges through lawyers. Each conversation is a chess move in a game where there seems to be no winners, only survivors. I've learned through mutual acquaintances that Kathy has been staying with Doug, a fact that fuels my resolve for retribution. The bitterness festers, growing into a calculated coldness that sharpens my every action. On a gray, overcast afternoon, as I amble through the park where I first confirmed their betrayal, a plan begins to form, a plan that's as dark as the clouds overhead. It's risky, potentially devastating, but it promises the closure I crave. That evening, I send Kathy a message, the first direct communication in weeks. Meet me at our house. We need to settle this. I know she'll come, she wants to resolve things as much as I do, albeit for different reasons. At 8 p.m., the doorbell rings. Kathy steps inside, looking wary but hopeful, perhaps believing in a chance for reconciliation or at least a peaceful resolution. Alex, Save it, I interrupt, my voice calm, devoid of the turmoil inside. Let's just get this over with. I lead her into the living room where two chairs sit across from each other. Sit down. We're going to end this tonight. Kathy sits, clutching her purse, her eyes searching mine for a sign of the old warmth she once knew. Instead, she finds an icy resolve. I've thought long about what you deserve, I begin, my words slow, measured. And I've realized, it's not just about what you took from me, but what you did to us. Alex, I'm so sorry, Sorry doesn't undo it, Kathy. I pull out a stack of papers from a folder. These are the divorce papers. You'll find the terms are thorough. She takes them hesitantly, flipping through the documents, her face paling as she reads the conditions. This is everything. You're taking everything. The house, the savings, consider it compensation for the lies. But where will I go? Her voice cracks. That's your problem now, Kathy. You chose this. Now you live with it. As she absorbs the gravity of her new reality, tears start to trickle down her cheeks. I feel a surge of satisfaction, cruel, maybe, but fitting. Why are you doing this? She whispers. Because you broke everything I cherished. This is me, fixing what I can. Kathy's sobs fill the room, a mournful sound that once might have tugged at my heartstrings. Now, it's just a confirmation that justice, in its own brutal way, is being served. I stand, signaling the end of the meeting. You should leave now. I'll have your things sent to Doug's. She looks up, startled. You knew. I know everything, Kathy. My voice is a whisper, but it cuts through the tension like a knife. I even know about the baby. Kathy gasps, her hand instinctively moving to shield her stomach, a new betrayal written across her face. How I found out doesn't matter. Her secrets are no longer her own. Goodbye, Kathy. My farewell is a door closing, a book ending, a life changing. She leaves, broken, defeated. I watch from the window as she disappears into the night, the weight of her choices squarely on her shoulders. Alone again, I sit back down, feeling the hollow victory settling in. The house feels emptier, my heart heavier, but the chains of her deceit have been shattered. In this grim theater of retribution, I played the harshest role. But as the curtain falls on what we once had, I'm left with a stark realization: revenge might taste sweet, but it's a meal enjoyed alone, in the echoing silence of a life upturned by vengeance.